Hi guys, Vincent here once again. I'm just having some bubble tea. So for today's episode, I was actually thinking of trying to demystify sorry, please mind the very messy table, the thought of having trees in an indoor environment. As you can see from my Instagram and some of my poses and videos, you can see there is a almost 2 meters tall rubber plant or Ficus Elastica. I do have some other trees that I've been growing indoors as well. So it is possible to actually grow trees in an indoor environment where it doesn't experience direct sunlight. So yeah, so I'll be showing you guys some of the trees that I'm growing in my living space and hoping that you guys will be encouraged to grow these trees as well. So let's have a look. So over here, it is actually my service yard. Okay, which is kind of funny because most of the time in the service yard people tend to be hanging their laundry, but I generally hang my plants, or I have estate place for my plants. So I do get very good morning sun from this area, so I usually do my laundry in the mornings, and by mid mornings the clothes will be thoroughly dried. So I don't really need any space to actually dry my clothes. So the very first tree that I have over here, as you can see from the very unique leaves, is known as the Bodhi tree, or it's actually also known scientifically as the Ficus Religiosa, something related to religion, because legend has it that Buddha, the Lord Buddha, actually meditated under the Bodhi tree, and that's how he got enlightened. So I got this from Carousel, from a fellow plant grower, and it has grown pretty tall. But I've actually put it on a stand, so it is slowly growing all the way up. Hopefully, I'm not sure if it's gonna touch the ceiling of my service yard. So it's been doing pretty well. It does receive direct morning sun, but for the rest of the day it does just tapered light from, as you can see, just regular bright indoor lightings. The leaves, as you can see, is pretty unique. It has a very almost like teardrop structure towards the end that has a tail. So it's some people will call it as the signature leaf structures of the Bodhi tree. And just behind, you can see with these luscious green leaves are known as the Mulberry tree. It has started fruiting. Let me show you. These are the baby mulberries that are growing. Let's see if I can show you the mulberries that are growing. So the fruits of this mulberry plant are edible, and it turns bright purple. The interesting fact about this mulberry plant is that the leaves, if you dry them, they can be used as a kind of like herbal tea. I tried it personally. Has a little earthy, herbalicious scent to it. Pretty similar to like burnt brown rice tea. Pretty unique. But as with most edibles, this mulberry plant is very substantial to pest infestation. So I do spray it pretty regularly with a organic spray to prevent the leaves from getting caught with like thrips or mealybugs. That's why I have this tray of Japanese moss roses as the first line of defense. So in this service yard, that's my little bush. I forgot to mention I've got some lime that's growing as well. And over here is my favorite bunny chair from Journey East Singapore. And this tree here is known as the happiness tree. I believe you have seen it outdoors as well, but it grows perfectly fine indoors as well. I will list the scientific name on the video as well, but because it's quite a mouthful. But once you tell the gardeners that you like to have the happiness tree, you'll know what it is. Interesting part of the leaves is pretty almost like a succulent. It's very thick, juicy, velvety, I guess. So as with most plants, the initial part of the leaves, the earlier leaves, will actually shed as they are getting used to the new environment, the new lighting of the new home. So after the initial shedding, you can see the new growths are starting to sprout out. So this plant does perfectly well indoors as well as outdoors as well. So the only light that it's receiving is from my balcony, as you can see. Quite a distance from the balcony, but it's still green and is doing well. It is planted in a self-watering pot from KIPOS. So far it's doing really alright. I have this plant for almost 2 months. And this is the new growth. You can see that the leaf grows out close, the pair of leaves, and then they start to open up. It's pretty unique. So if you want a tree that doesn't have like those tiny leaves that will keep falling, this would be a good plant to have. Has a very interesting structure. So this magnificent tree here is pretty common, surprisingly, but probably you have not seen one that is structured this way. It's known as the rubber plant or rubber tree, Ficus Elastica. This is the regular version, the leaves that is not variegated but it's just purely green. So interesting thing, this top part actually grew when it was growing in my area, in the new environment that is my living room. So I think I can't reach it. It is almost 2.5 meters or so. I think the ceiling of my living space is about 3 meters. So it does pretty well indoors and outdoors, as if you have kept before rubber plants. They are highly versatile in growing. So this is actually my living room area that I have since turned into an extended balcony. Yep. So previously there was like the sofa here, and then I had my TV here as well, but the lighting here is so good for the plants that I decided to shift the living room, the TV and the sofa into the TV room, and just create an extended balcony. And so far the plants are doing pretty alright. So it is still growing pretty well, this rubber tree. So I got this rubber tree from Carousel for just 25 Singapore dollars, but it's actually the cost of transporting this rubber tree to my home that is the major bulk of the price of this tree, which is about 50 Singapore dollars just to transport it over here in the same area. So I specifically chose this one because I decided to have a rubber tree at the corner. So the way that this plant has been growing from the previous owners is that it looks very cornered, very elongated. So I thought, it's a pretty nice angle, and it's like growing one-sided, which is perfect for keeping this plant at the corner. And I wouldn't call this a tree, but This plant here is known as the Philodendron Billietiae. It is a magnificent one, pretty big. I'll show you the size of the leaves. Very resilient. So far, I have not gotten any pest infestations from this plant. And this area here, I would say, is like the grandstand. It has the Philodendron tortum, the white wizard, Florida beauty. Okay, that's fish food from my pond. Yeah. So if you like something that has very good structure and has quite a bit of height, but something that needs to be supported would be this Philodendron Billietiae. And since I'm over here, let me show you my stick insect. Not sure where is it. I am quite scared to show it sometimes. Oh, it's over here. It has grown so big. I have two actually. Where are you, the other one? Somewhere. It's a bit hard when you're... Oh, there's another one here. One. Then there's a bigger one here. Interesting that stick insects feed on hibiscus leaves. So this is my Bavarian. My very own National Geographic. Live National Geographic. And following which, rather interesting plant would be the Thaumatophyllum Spruceanum. It's not exactly a tree, it's actually a vining or climbing species of plant that grows on trees, but it can get pretty huge. I recently did a bit of trimming because it has been in this space for almost 2 years. Not 2 years, about exactly 1 year or so. It does pretty well indoors, as you can see leaves here. Just that it grows a bit slower. Previously I kept it at the balcony in full sun and the leaves are scorched. So you can see these are the burn marks from the previous area where I kept the plant. Thaumatophyllum Spruceanum. I got it at a pretty hefty price, but recently I've checked it out at the local nurseries and the price has went down quite a bit. So something that you like, if you like something that's structural, grows pretty interesting. You can see the leaves. It's shape of a fan. Something to consider. And this is at the same time my quick extended balcony view. And then welcome to my, I would say, meditation, holistic healing therapy room. So surprisingly, a plant that can grow pretty well is the stone bamboo. So you have seen this version of the plant that has been growing outdoors, but surprisingly they do pretty well indoors as well. So as with most trees, most plants that you keep at home, initially when they are placed in their new environment, they are adjusting to the new light and atmosphere. So what happens is the older leaves will tend to fall off, but once the old leaves falls off, they will sprout new leaves, which is all the new leaves that you see here. And they are adapted to the new environment after that. Okay, something that I wouldn't highly recommend, but they do grow pretty well. But do note that stone bamboo grows really tall, like tall. So far you have not reached my ceiling yet, but it does give a very zen feel, especially we are in this room. So let's say if I'm lying down here, When you're relaxing or when you're doing a Reiki healing therapy, you can see the plants. Very calm. Very relaxing, which is what I want to. Yep. I'm lying down here in the therapy room, enjoying the view of the stone bamboo. So yeah, that is my brief introduction of the trees that I have that is growing in my living space in an indoor environment. So generally they like slightly bright, natural lighting, regular watering, and I did experiment with them for like a range from a couple of months to almost a year. So if you have any questions and you're interested to grow some of these trees, do DM me and I will share with you more about how to grow these trees into little giants. So thank you once again, and I'll see you in my next video. Vincent here, signing off.